Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to learn about the COS function in Salesforce. So let's learn how we can use this COS function in Salesforce Lightning as well as a classic interface in the formula field. So let's proceed and firstly understand what does we mean by the COS function. So the COS function is one of the mathematical function which is used to perform the trigonometric calculation. And this COS function is used to calculate the cosine of a given angle or the value. This function always return a value in radians or a degree. So let's see its syntax, how it's look while writing in a Salesforce. So here I write this syntax and it is visible on your screen, and here you can see that we have passed number, field and a formula as a parameter. So it is the value for which you want to determine the cosine value, and the value can be a field, a numeric field, a constant value or a formula. So let's proceed and firstly learn how we can use this COS function in formula field while working in a Salesforce Lightning. So here I log in into my Salesforce account as an administrator, and by default I logged into the home page of some application as it's set as a default landing page for that my Salesforce account. Now to redirect myself to the main home setup page, because I want to create object manager, we need to be on the main setup home page of the Lightning interface. So I click on the gear icon and here we have a setup option. I click on that, it's take me to the Lightning home interface setup page, and once I redirected here, it gives me a object manager on the top of the navigation bar. So let's click on that. So once you click on that, you will get the list of all the objects that are in Salesforce. Now it's time to choose up the object on which you want to use this cosine function. Let's suppose I want to track the sales performance of the sales lead team. So I search for the lead as an object in the quick find box given on the right side, and it gives me a lead. I click on that and it will take me to the detail object manager page for this lead. Now on the left side bar we have a fields and relationship option. I click on that and it will take me to the page where I will get the fields and relationships that are already created in Salesforce and that come predefined with the Salesforce lead object. Now as I want to create up a new field, I click on the new button given on the top, and once I click on that, it will redirects me to the page where I need to choose the field type, or you can say a data type, according to my requirement. As we want to use up this COS function and it is only possible in the formula fields to use the function, I click on the radio button next to it, and then I click on the next button to proceed. Once I proceed, it will take me to the page where we have to set up the field label. It is the name that is visible to the users, and the field name is act as a API which is used by the developer in the case of coding if you want to create a code with that particular field. And here I enter the field label as a sales performance. So after that, you need to scroll down and choose up the formula return type, in which data type you want to return its answer. So I want it to be in a number type, and once I click on the radio button, it says that it has a 2 decimal points. By default it is set, but I want to be in a 3 decimal point as a result, so I change its value to 3, and after that I click on the next button to proceed to the next step. Now in the next step we have to create up the formula that computes the sales performance, and we want to use the COS function for it. To use the functions, on the right side we have a functions section. Here we have a drop down for the all function categories. When you click on that, it will gives you the different categories of the functions that are in Salesforce. So as I told you, this function is a one of the mathematical function. You need to click on the math and it will gives you the list of all the functions that reside under the maths category. So we are working up with the COS. Here you can see that we have a COS function. I select that by clicking on it, and it will automatically give up a insert button down this box. This is a insert selected function to insert it in the advanced formula editor. When I click on it, you can see that it will add the function on this box, and it says that it returns the cosine for the number where the number is given in the radians. Okay, so now we have to enter up the parameters in it, and I am replacing this number parameter with my requirement, and I want to add up some fields. So for adding the fields, here it gives a insert field button. I click on that. It has a name of a different fields. Now it's time to search out the fields that you want to include. I want to include the revenue generated this time. I search it, select it, and then it gives me insert button. I click on that. It enters the API name for it, and now I want to add one operator, that is a division. So here we have insert operator button. I click on that, and it gives a list of operators. Here I add a division operator, and again I want to add one field, that is a target revenue. So I again search for the field by clicking on the insert field button, and here I get a field. I select it and click on insert button. Now to check that whether this function is correctly written or not, here it gives a check syntax button. I click on that. If there is any error, it will produce an error message. Otherwise, it gives a message like that, no syntax error in the merge field or a function. Optionally, you can add a description and help text, and even handles the blank field if you want. So if we talk about this function, here we basically calculate the sales performance using the revenue generated and target field, and here we firstly divide up the revenue generated field value with the targeted field value, and after that we pass it to the COS function, as I want the resultant value to be get the in a COS terms or a radian terms. Okay, so then I click on the next function to proceed to the next step, and here it takes us to the step where we have to set up the field level security. Here we need to select the profiles to whom we want to grant the edit access to this field, and the field will be hidden from all the profile if we don't select it. Some of the profiles are automatically selected and some of them unchecked. If you want to grant this field edit access to some particular profile, you need to check the checkbox given next to it, and if you revoke these access, you need to uncheck the check boxes that are already checked. In a one go, if you want to check for all the profiles, you can simply click on the checkbox that is given next to this visible, and after that you need to click on the next button. And on the next step, we have a setting up of the page layout. Here we have to select the page layouts that should include this field. Here we have a multiple page layouts that are already selected by default, but maybe you don't want to include it on all the page layouts, so you want to unselect them. You can do that by unchecking the boxes, and remind one thing, the field will be added as the last field in the first two column section of these page layout, and if you unselect the any particular page layout, the field will not appear upon that. Now to finally save the things, you need to click on the save button, and once you click on the save, it successfully created up the formula using the COS function that calculated the sales performance of the lead in Salesforce Lightning. So now let's proceed and learn to use the COS function in Salesforce Classic to calculate the cosine value. So for that, firstly we need to redirect ourselves to the Classic interface, and for that you need to click on your profile, and here you will get an option of a switch to a Salesforce Classic. Once you click on that, it will take you to the page of a main home page of a Salesforce Classic. And to redirect yourself to the Classic setup, here we have a setup option on the top right side. I click on that, it will take me to the setup page of the Classic interface. Now you need to scroll down, and here we have a build section. Under it we have a customize drop down, and inside it we have a multiple objects, and now it's time to choose up one of the standard object on which you want to use this COS function. Let's suppose I want to use it on the contacts. I click on it, and it will gives me option of a fields. I click on that because I want to create a one field. Now to create one new field, I scroll down, and it gives me a section of a contact custom fields and relationship that gives me all the custom fields that are in this contact object. And to create up the new, I click on a new button. Now it's take me to the step where we have to specify the data type for my required information that I want to add on this custom field, and as I want to use up the COS function, so here I select up the formula as a data type and click on the next button. And in the next step we have to choose up the output type or set up the field labels and a field name. So I want to calculate the hike chance, so here I click on hike, write as a hike chance, and I want to be result in a number format, so I click on the number as a formula return type, and I change its decimal point to 1 by clicking on the radio button, selecting up the value, and after that I click on the next button. Once I click on a next, it will take me to the page where I can set up the advanced formula, and here we have a function categories on the right side, and from here I choose up the maths, and from the maths function category I choose up the COS function and insert it with the help of the inserted function button on the formula editor page. Now to create up the formula that calculates the cosine value for the hike chance based upon the performance of these contacts, I need to add 1, and then I want to include the plus operator, and after that I want to divide this whole value with 2. So to divide this whole value, I need to include it in a parenthesis. So I include the close parenthesis and the open parenthesis in the start and end of this formula that I have entered till now. And after that I include the division operator and I divide it with the 2. Now it's time to change up the parameter for this COS function, and I want to pass it as a performance field that I have already created. So I click on the insert field button and choose up the performance field from my list. So here it is, I select that and click on insert button. It's successfully entered. Now to check it is correct or not, I click on the check syntax. So there is no error in it and it gives me a message no syntax error. If you want to add description and help text, you can add it. If you don't want to add, you can simply click on the next button and proceed to the next step. Once I move to the next step, here it asks me to choose up the field level security, where I can choose up the profile to whom I want to grant the edit access for this field. If I want that this field is visible to that particular profile, I need to choose up the field checkbox, and if I don't want, so I need to keep them unchecked, and if it is already checked, we can uncheck these boxes. After making all such setting, we need to click on the next button and move to the last step, that is adding these field to the page layout. And if the page layout is not selected, the field will not appear on that particular page layout and it will be added as the last field in the first 2 column section of these page layout. Now I click on the save button to completely save up all the things that I have created, the formula that calculates the performance hike in the contact object. Now to check whether it is correctly working or not, let's open the object. You can see on the top navigation we have a contacts. I click on that. It will take me to the page where it gives me a list of all the contacts. I randomly select any one and I edit the already created contact. So here I have a performance field. I edit it and I entered a value as a 100, and then I click on a save button, and you can see that it gives me a result of a hike 0.9. Because we are calculating it on the basis of a COS thing, so it gives me a result in a radian. So I pass value as 100 and it give me a result in a 0.9. So with this we have successfully learned up how we can use this COS function to calculate the cosine value in Salesforce Classic. And with this our today's session ends here, where we have learned about the COS function in Salesforce. And if you like this video, click on the like button and also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. Thanking you for watching and have a great day.